Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope that you have been blessed since the last time we've spoken. I hope that your day was just amazing. Tonight we're going to be speaking about obedience and doing what God has called you to do. We are on assignment. We are here for a purpose. God has a plan for our lives, and He has chosen us to do something that no one else can do. Now, if you're doing it or not, only you and God know that. But God is calling some of y'all to do things a lot greater than what you are doing. But you're allowing her and what she think and what he think and what they think to interfere with what God has called you to do. Back in fall of 2013, God gave me the assignment to start a ministry at my school. Now, I had only been saved and really living for God, like real deal living for God, for like 2 months. So when I got the thought in my head, I was like, this is not God. I don't need to be leading nobody. I am just not getting myself together like what I need to lead somebody for. So I went back and forth with the idea, and I was kind of just like, I don't really want to do this, Don't nobody want to hear from me, because just earlier in the year I was at the club with them. We was partying, we was turning up together, and now I'm inviting them to a ministry meeting. And so I went back and forth again, and finally in November I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I've waited long enough. I should have did this earlier, but I'm going to do this now. And it was just so amazing to be able to pour into the lives of young women. It was one of the most rewarding things I've ever been a part of. And something that I know my pastor always says is that obedience produces blessings. So when you're choosing to be disobedient to what God has told you to do, you're only hurting yourself. You're blocking yourself from, one, blessings, and two, you're blocking yourself from going further in your relationship with Christ. You have to pass a test. If God tells you to do something, you do it, you pass the test, you advance forward. But so many times we want to advance forward without doing what God has told us to do. And so tonight I want to encourage you, if you know God is telling you to do something, start doing it. Stop letting what they got to say about you affect what you do. They ain't got nothing on you. They need to be worried about them. Don't let what they have to say influence you. God's plan for your life was established before their opinion was established. That should be the only thing that matters to you. So if you're letting what your friends say, if your friends are supporting you and doing what God has told you to do, bye. Okay, we'll see them later. You've got to stay focused. Don't let your friends, don't let family, don't let these thoughts, because them tell y'all these thoughts are what they're what really get to us. I know that I told y'all when I started the ministry, I didn't think that I was qualified. Keep in mind, I didn't think that I should have been leading the ministry. I didn't think that I was ready. But let me tell you something. God won't put you in a position where you're going to fall down. He's not going to lead you somewhere where you're just going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do. If you trust him, being obedient teaches you to trust God. I had to be completely dependent on Jesus my very first meeting. And every meeting that I have to be so dependent, because I don't know what I'm doing. That very first meeting, y'all, I was nervous the entire time. I can't even tell you what I said when I got up there and started preaching. I did not know what to do. But something that I learned is that when you trust God, the Holy Spirit begins to just move through you. And people got what they came for. They received, they had a nice time, and it was just so great. Something that I have learned is that you have a voice, and your assignment could just be just a small assignment to speak to someone. Talk to them about Jesus, because I learned that you could be the only Jesus that someone sees. On Twitter, you could be the only Jesus that your followers see, and I'm going to talk about that for a second. I see people say all the time, God first, and God is first in my life, and he's head of my life, and all these different godly tweets. But then I see them tweet like, seconds to hours later, they're tweeting things with nudity, profanity, derogatory statements, all these things. Let me tell you, Christianity and being a Christian and a follower of Christ is not something that to be taken lightly, for one. And for two, it's not something you just tweet. It's a lifestyle. Every day I have to make the conscious decision that I'm gonna, one, be obedient, two, die to my flesh every single day and take up my cross and do what I'm supposed to do. You can't be running around here and one day you tweet about you love the Lord. The next day you tweet about the song that got to talk about sex, and you tweet all these things. It doesn't work like that. You can't, blessing and curses can't come from the same mouth. It just doesn't work like that. But just be sure that you're just displaying Christ in a positive way. Be sure in your tweets that God can be glorified, because you don't want someone to say, well, she a Christian, but all of it, she tweeting about this, and then you start getting mad and stuff. Don't have that happen. Keep your tweets clean. Do what you're supposed to do. Enough about Twitter. Back to obedience. But really, y'all, just be obedient. Stop worrying about what they have to say, because they don't have to answer to God one day. When we answer to God, we're standing there on Judgment Day, and let's say God asks you why you didn't do something. Well, and this your answer is, well, I was afraid about what they was gonna say. Like, why would you? Well, I don't even understand. Why is that even relevant? You don't want to be that reason where you're separated from God's presence for forever because you was worried about what they had to say about you. Don't even worry about that. Can I tell y'all, I am almost positive that people were talking about me when I started the ministry. I don't care. I have always had such a I don't really care attitude. But if you don't have the type of attitude, let me tell you, depend on Christ. It doesn't matter. You stay focused. Stay focused on the cross. Stop worrying about what they say, because they don't have to answer to God, like I said earlier. If your friends are prohibiting you from being obedient, bye. Like, you can't sit around here and continuously be around people who don't support your vision. And I'm not saying they have to understand it, but if they don't support it, then you've got to start surrounding yourself with people who want the same thing you want. When I got back to school for my sophomore year, I prayed and I was like, Lord, please, I need some godly friends. I need some friends around me that are oriented by you. They're driven by you. They want to have a better relationship with you. The same things that I wanted. And I prayed. And when I tell y'all God showed out, God began to just send people my way. He just started pouring people in. And I was like, wait a minute now. Hey, God, you better do it. And so I just pray. If you need godly friends, pray for them. Sometimes you have to get alone before God. And I went through the season where I had to be alone and I had to just really clean myself up and allow God to just take over. And once I got myself together, friends started coming in and it just became amazing. So if you're not being obedient to God, get ready. Start being obedient. Start doing what He's calling you to do. You don't know who's depending on you. If I would have been disobedient and just not done pinky promise, there would have so many women who would have still been hurting and who would still been needing advice about things and needing to see God's love and needing to be in an environment, a safe place where we could just come together and talk about the love of Christ. If I wouldn't have did that, they would have still been hurting. There would have still been brokenness walking around campus. So I want you to know that, your obedience could be a breaking point for someone. That could be their breakthrough. You could help them start living for Christ more and start getting it together. So I want to encourage you to be obedient and just do what God has called you to do. Before I end, because I kind of ran over my time, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. You are loved and you are appreciated and you're just the best ever. Our lives would be a wreck if you were not there. And I do want to say to my mom, hey girl, Happy Mother's Day. I love you so much. You are the best mom in the world. I look just like you and I hope your day is great. And I'm going to see you like when you wake up in a few hours. So I hope all of you have a wonderful night and that you were just choosing to be obedient. Also, if you have topics that you want me to talk about, send me an email. My email is cfrance, CFRANCEO, as in the number 0, 5, that's the number 5 at gmail.com. Shoot me an email, and I'll make a video. You can tweet me at Cobria, and I'll put the name in the link thing below, or Instagram me at Cobria as well. So I hope you guys have a great day. Love on your mothers today. Be obedient and do what God has called you to do.